Hello everyone, I am Aditi Kumar and welcome to another learning session related to data science. Data is like a ocean. We need to dig dive into that to extract meaningful insights. So, data understanding is very important and preliminary step in data science. But what are the tools and techniques used to understand the data? What are the steps involved for data understanding? How we can align with business to confirm our data understanding? Let's discuss and explore in a very simpler manner. What exactly the data understanding is? Data understanding in data science involves thoroughly understand the characteristics of the data, the structure of the data, and the quality of the data. By understanding the data better, we can take informed decision in our business, and also we can identify the limitations in our data, or we can identify or maybe we can measure the quality of the data efficiently. There are multiple steps involved in data understanding, but I highlighted the major top level points here to understand the data understanding concept in simpler way. My first step here is data source and acquisition. There are two steps here. One is data source and second is acquisition technique. In data source, we need to understand the complete characteristics of the data source. For example, what is the data source type? Is it a database or a flat file or any raw data or maybe any sensor? We need to understand the complete characteristics of the data set or maybe data source. And what are the acquisition techniques we are using? What are the sampling technique or maybe the data collection technique we are using to collect the data from source? The second building block here is data description. Data description involves multiple stages. For example, we need to understand the complete characteristics of the data set, the characteristics of each variable and feature within our data set, the scale of measurement of our data set, the unit of measurement of our data set. We need to complete understand about the data set. That is basically the data description. The third building block here is data quality assessment. Whatever the data we collected, we need to ensure we collected the quality and accurate data. So there is a certain parameters here we need to measure. We need to check, is there any outlier, or we need to check what are the number of missing data here, or maybe I can say what are the percentage of noise in our data set. These are the main things we can consider during our data quality assessment. We need to ensure that our data quality is good. The next building block of our data understanding cycle is data context and relevance. What exactly it tells? Whatever the data we are collecting and understanding, especially this is specific to one experiment. For executing one experiment or for solving a real world problem, we are collecting the data. Ideally, the data should be relevant for our experimentation or for our problem statement. If it is not relevant, then there is not any meaning of data collection or understanding. So we need to ensure that the data, whatever the data we collected and we understood, it is basically relevant to our problem statement. The next building block is exploratory data analysis. On the top of the data, whatever we collected, we need to do some more exploration on it to extract some additional insights from it. For example, is there any trend available, or maybe is there any additional pattern we are getting from the data? We can do some statistical examination or maybe statistical experiment or some mathematical simulation to understand the data better. The next building block is data documentation and the metadata. Here there are two concepts, data documentation and metadata. Data documentation means whatever the data we are collecting from the source, is there any documentation present related to the data source? We need to understand that so that we can get better and better idea or understanding about our data, whatever the data we collected. The metadata is data about the data. Is there any additional data related to the data we collected is available? We can follow this metadata to understand better, or maybe to dig dive into the metadata to understand or to just get a better understanding what on the data we collected. The next building block is domain knowledge integration. Again, whatever the experiment or problem we are solving, it is specific to any business or any real world scenario, and there is some domain knowledge associated with that particular experiment or problem statement. We need to ensure that we are aligned into the business or the domain. So with the help of some subject matter expertise or some R&D people, we can confirm our data, how our data aligned with domain, or what additional information we can get related to the mapping between the domain and the data we collected. We need to understand that so that we can have more confidence on data understanding, and we can have more confidence to take decision further. The last building block in our data understanding cycle here is communication and reporting. It is very important to communicate your findings, for example, the data source, significance of the data, whatever the insights you extracted from the data, you have to communicate to the stakeholders so that your business and your understanding should be in the same page. It will be very useful and very beneficial to take the further decision if your business, your domain, and you as a data science professional, you should have in a same page. Otherwise, it is very difficult to take a informed decision in the real world. I tried to make the data understanding concept simpler. I only just explain the high level concept. Again, under each category there are multiple techniques, multiple advanced technique I can say is involved. Definitely we will discuss in our further videos and we will understand more and more. Maybe we can try to implement practically how we can do it in practically and how it looks like practically. We have some videos in future. Very much for watching this video, and please do subscribe my channel so that whenever I am uploading any new content you can get notified. Thank you.